Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to this week's Productive Agent Podcast. My name is Tony Ruiz. I'm the founder and host of the Productive Agent Podcast and Facebook group, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Shane Tokheim. What's going on?
Not much. I switched from Monster to water today because I don't feel good, but...
Yeah, man. So if you hear a bunch of noise, he's just smacking on these cough drops over here. All right, but it sounded good.
Yeah.
Let's roll with it. All right, so today's episode is entitled, What is a Database? And this was inspired by, I went to a training recently with JJ Gorena, amazing realtor here in San Antonio, does a lot of trainings in person, and his presentation is called My Income, My Business, My Database. I've attended a couple times, took a lot of notes here that I'll be referencing, and I want to talk about that because it's a very important part of our business. I feel like if you don't really have a database, you don't really have a direction of your business. What do you think?
Yeah, same. And so that'll be the first question when people come into my group. I say, bring your database, and people panic right away. Like you asked me earlier, what percentage of the people do you think can print it out?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, probably 5% maybe, because everybody that comes to the group, even though I say it over and over, print it out, bring it, they don't. Yeah. They never show up with it, and they never have it.
Yeah, he starts off this whole presentation with like his first time in real estate. I'm probably going to butcher the story a little bit, but the first assignment, like the first day, was like, hey, you need to show up tomorrow with your database, right? And they explain what they're expecting, and he goes home and he's talking to his mom, and hey, what's Thea's number, and blah blah blah. He starts putting together, and he has probably like 3 or 4 pages. That's how he says it. Mm-hmm. JJ, right? And he comes and he's like pretty proud of it, and then this guy next to him, he comes with like a freaking book, like just a binder full, and he's like, what the hell's that? He's like, this is my database, and he like knows all these people, all right? And he was like, it dawned on him at that moment. He's like, man, I need to step up my game. I need to meet more people, put more people in the database, and grow my database and grow my business.
Yeah.
So that's really what it's about. So my question to you is, what is a database? If you're proposed with that question,
it's a list of opportunities.
You stole that one because I shared it with you yesterday.
I have mine with me if you're interested.
Yeah. Well, what is so? You stole that one, but what is a database?
It's a list of, for me, it's a list of the people that you are in flow with. Mm-hmm. So many people want to say that, like, there's a guy that was in, maybe it was your group, I don't know. He said he had 3,000 people. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you have a list of 3,000 people. That's not your database.
Sure.
Now, I mean, it's not. It wasn't, obviously. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing less than 2 transactions a year, right? So, I think it should be obviously their name, number, their general information, the 5 things that I guess you're going to talk about. But also, you should be pretty sure that they're going to refer you when the time comes, or use you when the time comes, or you're the first one that they think of when they talk about real estate. That, to me, is your database.
Yeah, we had a great conversation yesterday, and obviously I have a database, and mine is kind of in all different places. When I first started real estate, I was told, and just like I tell everybody says, hey, you got to have a database, and that's where you start. It's their sphere of influence. It's the people that know, like, and trust you. That's a good one from Ninja Selling.
Yeah.
Right. And it's but I felt like I didn't have that in place, and I wasn't really communicating with my database. So I talked to my mentor, Mark Chambers, and he's like, you are communicating with your database just in a different way. It's mostly through social media, because most of your database is probably in your social media, your friends, your family, whoever that is. And I was posting consistently to social media. So there was some type of communication. Some of it wasn't very personal with those people, but it was still out there. Right. So bottom line, I think it's really important to kind of bring all that together in like one place. Mm-hmm. And my ultimate goal is, like I told you yesterday, I have some in my KV Core, which is my CRM. I have a lot of them. Then I have a spreadsheet with some. Then I have Facebook. Then I have my phone. And it's like, it's all in different places, and a majority of it overlaps, right? But I would really like to get to a point where it's in one place and I could print it out.
And you feel good about it.
And I feel like these are my relationships. These are my people that know, like, and trust me, and I know, like, and trust them.
And I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, exactly. So developing that. So let's talk about a little bit of the specifics of this.
Hey, let me say something before I forget.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that theirs is social media, and you had a birthday recently, right?
Yep.
How many people said happy birthday to you on Facebook?
Quite a bit.
How many?
Probably over 200.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
How many text you?
Not a lot.
And what did I say to you? Don't say what I said. But I mean, I text you a personal message.
Yeah. Right,
and I didn't say anything on Facebook.
Right.
But which one's better and which one makes you feel better?
Yeah. There's that personal
For
connection.
sure, dude. I mean, I'm hoping you remember. Maybe you don't. I mean, I spent a lot of time thinking of that. But
I don't know word for word, but I definitely remember it. Yes.
But
it was impactful.
That it's impactful. And I could have easily just said, like, happy birthday on Facebook, like 200 other people did.
Right.
How do you set yourself apart?
Right.
That's what I'm going with. Like, yes, your database may be your social media, but you still got to set yourself apart and get top of mind.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I didn't know you were going to bring that one, but that was good. That was good. So the nuts and bolts of what a database is, right? And this is, a lot of this is going to be referenced and taking notes from JJ's class. But number one, it's got to be their legal name, and probably next to it, like, what do they go by, right? The legal name is important because it's going on a contract eventually at some point, right? So it's like, I'm Tony, and 95% of people know that I'm Tony, but it's actually Anthony.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like,
I'm Shane, but my real name's Richard. It's not that funny.
No, it's kind of funny because I didn't really realize that. I mean, now that you mentioned it, I think I've heard it, but I'm like,
when I call people, it comes up Richard because that's how they have it.
That's right. That's funny because I only know you as Shane. If somebody said, "What's his Shane?"
Yeah. But I bought homes with Shane on the title.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, but it's still very important.
Yeah. So legal name, so you can put it on a contract. Obviously, a cell phone. That's probably the easiest thing to get. I feel like everybody you meet is like, here's my number. Here's my number, right? So a cell phone that they're going to answer, all right? And then third would be a physical address. And this is interesting because he says where they check their mail, all right? And he goes, sometimes it's a P.O. box. Sometimes it's at their work, wherever it's at, that's where they check the mail. I think that's really important, especially if you are consistently mailing out stuff. But I think it's as important to have their physical address of where they live so that you can run like a CMA, do things like that.
For sure.
And get the value to them. So probably and or both. You should know them on a personal level.
Probably most of the time it's the same, but not always.
Right, typically, correct. And then fourth, the basic thing is an email address. All right, so that an email that they check. Because I have two emails and I really only check one, but so those are pretty important.
I have three and I check two.
There you go. Right. So which one, hopefully they're not giving you the third one that they never see.
Yeah.
Right. So get to the bottom of that. Taking it to the next level, and I think this is really gets to know them on a personal level, is the Ford. All right. And I was introduced to that. Probably you introduced it to me because you heard it from Ninja Selling or something. Ninja Selling talks about it a lot. But Ford is family. All right. It's an acronym. F is for family. O is for occupation. R is for recreation. And D is for dreams. Right. So you should know, are they married? Are they not married? What's their spouse's name? How many kids do they have? How many pets do they have? What are those names, etc.? Birthdays included in all those things. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. My go-to is the occupation because when I'm meeting somebody, I often will say, so what do you do? So they ask me what I do.
Yeah. No, that's a great one. I mean, if you want to kind of introduce yourself as a realtor without saying, hey, I'm a realtor, by the way, man, I love that question. I use it all the time and it works.
Yeah. Every
100%.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do for a living? Oh, well, I do this. Oh, well, what do you? Boom. I'm a realtor.
That's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Opens the door for sure. Recreation. Don't overthink this. This is just something that they like to do, right? I know Shane likes to golf. So when I'm thinking of like, hey, what should I get him for a present? Or what should I invite him to go play golf? He's a golfer. All right. He likes other things as well, but you want to kind of know that person on a personal level.
For sure.
that really helps in kind of categorizing, hey, I'm going to invite them to this, or I'm going to send them this information about whatever. And then the dreams is really cool. It could be anything. It could be, hey, I really want to own a beach house in Mexico someday, right? Or it could be, hey, yeah, we're taking this awesome trip this summer to, Disney or whatever. So just having a very personal connection with them and knowing them on a deeper level rather than, yeah, Shane works at Tidal.
Yeah.
And that's all I know.
Yeah. Probably, those are long time, after months and months or years of getting to know people. I mean, if you're intentional about doing it, then yeah, you might do that and detailed.
Yeah.
Some people have the gift of just memory. I was talking to Craig Owen yesterday, and that guy he comes up with stuff that you're like, how'd you remember that? And some people can do that, but if you have it written down, of course, it's much better. But yeah, I always say, like, we had the band party, whatever, that's a connection piece, right? So if you can just remember what they do, you can always ask them about that. But dreams, that's getting in there.
Yeah.
And then they really do know that you care about them. Because let's say somebody's dream was to go to Disney World, and then you called them up and said, like, hey, I just heard that, Disney's doing this discount or something. People be like, oh my God, thank you so much. or whatever it is.
Right. No, exactly.
It means a lot to people.
And obviously you're not trying to get all of this information on the first meeting.
Right.
I mean, it's developed.
And it's got to be real and genuine and, developed within a relationship.
Yeah. And JJ was showing us his contact list, and it's really cool. And I mean, this is 90% of us have Apple iPhones, right? And I'm sure it's a similar on Androids, but on the contact, you have their phone number, email address, whatever, and you could put in notes. And at least this one, I'm sure most of his contacts have it. He has the forward in there, right? So let's say I'm having a conversation with Shane. We're wrapping up. Maybe I heard him say something. I could immediately get off the phone and go type in a notes, boom, so that when I pull it up next time I go, oh yeah, I need to mention that, whatever it is. So that was pretty cool. And just being intentional, right? Keeping track of things, developing those relationships, getting to a deeper level, and those people are going to love you forever, refer you business, do business, etc.
Being intentional and having that habit are the two best things you can do. If there's a way to get Siri to do for him, that would be so awesome. There probably is. But yeah, if you can just be intentionally always listening and then remembering to write things down, it's so good. And then you can apply that to the Ninja 8 and 8. If somebody says something like, yeah, I'm thinking about going downtown next week, and we're looking for a good restaurant, you go back and find a good restaurant and send it to them.
Yeah.
And that's thoughtful and genuine, and you should be doing it for those reasons too.
Right.
Obviously your business grows out of it because of that, but if you're sincere and genuine, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure. So that gives us a general idea of like what information we need and can develop and grow with. Now the next step, and really the most important step, is staying in flow with them. Right. So right here we talk about 44 times a year in this worksheet here, and we'll kind of go over those different things here. And Ninja Selling talks about staying in flow. I think there's like two different types of flow. Like I think there's a passive and an active flow. I have to remember my write-up there. But anyways, one of the first ways is mailers, right? Any type of mail. Some people send out, newsletters. Christina does that on a monthly basis. He says to do 4 snail mails at minimum. And those could be postcards. He mentioned Reaching Neighbors as a program that you can sign up for that you send them your database and they send out stuff consistently based off of what you choose. Holidays, letters of the heart. I've never done letters of the heart. I know Mark Chambers has, and he's done well with that. And they're very thoughtful. Letters of the heart and evidence of success. So he kind of balances it out and makes sure that he's touching on both sides of the whatever you want to call it. There you go. But birthday cards is a good one. Right? I know you talk about that a lot. Holiday cards, just thinking about you cards, anniversary, any personal cards, anything else you could think of as far as good mail outs.
Yeah, 4 a year. That should be easy.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if their
market
birthday.
Statistics. If your database, your SOI is on they should be on your mailing list, you should be sending out market statistics. I mean, that's a good one. To me, that's if somebody's thinking about real estate, market statistics is going to really pique their interest, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, and going back to, if you know his birthday, you probably know her birthday. Sure. There's 2 right there. There's 2. You know, if they have any kids or whatever it is. And then on additional. On top of mails, we can also do email, right? And I do the Ricky Caruth weekly email. It goes out pretty much every single Wednesday. I've adopted that for about 1.5 years now. And it's pretty good, you know, and my open rate is 30 to 40%.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's pretty solid. They talk about no more than 26 and his philosophy. Everybody's philosophy is a little bit different. Obviously, I did when I first started, I had several weeks of people unsubscribing, right? Which it did bother me for a minute, you know, and then I just kind of got over and I was like, well, the unsubscribes kind of stopped, you know, and now I'm still sending it out to like 500 people. I'm at 30 to 40% open rate. And I've actually gotten calls from people reaching out to me. And it's like, there's the only way, I didn't ask them, but the only way I stayed in touch with them was probably that email. You know, it's like, well, it's working. It's at least one way to communicate with people. So,
you know what you could do?
Let's hear it. Bring it.
If you have 500 people, why aren't you calling them? You should call and say like, hey, I saw you open my email. What do you think of it? I'm always trying to get better.
You know, how do you do this? So we're going to do this right here live. You know, you do this all the time. I come up with something and then you go like, you should do this. And that is a perfect short script. Why am I not doing that? I don't know. And I go, how the hell do you come up with this stuff? Obviously he's been doing it 20 years. He's seen, you know, great producers do certain things, but how do you come up with those things so easily?
You know, it's a connection method, right? You know, so if you know they opened it, you call them up, you know, you could literally do it like the day after you sent it. You can see, and then say like, hey, I saw you open my email. First of all, thank you. Secondly, what did you think of it? Because if it could be improved, I really appreciate your input. You know, I mean,
That's it.
And they might say like, no, we like it. As a matter of fact, we're looking to buy a house or we're looking to sell our house. I mean, you know, those are to me like hot.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. So I'll send out the email today and maybe make some phone calls tomorrow. All right.
Maybe. He says maybe.
Text messages at least. That counts. I was reading a book today. I think it said 93% of text messages are, I think, either seen or respond to in the first like 5 minutes. I'll have to look at the book.
I believe that.
So it's like, it's very
You're
easy.
The worst.
I'm the worst.
You don't respond to mine.
Well, you send out, I respond to your direct messages. Your Monday, Fridays are great, you know, but I go, oh, well.
It takes 1 second.
You're right. I'll work on that.
Okay.
So here's another way to stay in flow with them is videos. Videos have gotten really popular over the past however many years. I try to do as much as possible. I'm pretty active on social media and I think it works, you know, and you definitely are in flow with these people, right? And then they typically reach out, but again, we should be active and reach out to them. And I know you've been on me about this. It's like, okay, you did the video, you posted on social media, we were just talking about this. Why don't I take it to the next level and send that information directly to their text message?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a great opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
It's being missed out on. But videos, what I love about videos, it could be repurposed, all right? So it's like, boom, I have this video on how to buy a house. Oh, I'm talking to a new buyer. Boom. Check out this video. Let me know what you think. You know, so it's repurposed.
Short,
YouTube.
sweet, to the point. What you were talking about earlier, that's got to be it. You don't want people to be like, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, that's a great point. So I do have like the longer videos. I need to chop them up a little bit more, be more concise with that. But what type of videos? YouTube's, new listings, TikToks, bomb, buying and selling process, frequently asked questions. And even better is try to get them to engage, like ask for their feedback. You know, what is your, hey, this is my favorite place to eat breakfast tacos. What is your favorite place to eat breakfast tacos? Whatever it is, you know, and market updates would be great. New developments. Last week's podcast was about Beezer Homes, you know, new development going on. So those are things to do. Another realtor is pretty cool. He's surfing the MLS, checking out properties. and he'll do like a video of like, check out this property. This is like the most expensive house you could buy in San Antonio, and this is the least expensive house in San Antonio. And it's just something that's entertaining, kind of catches your eye, and doing stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And of course, add personal stuff. Anytime I add something with my daughter in it, you know, it explodes with all the likes, and everybody loves that stuff. Speaking of, it's her first day back to school. She's a ninth grade. Yeah, started a little bit early. School of Science and Technology. So she started high school. I have a high schooler now.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool. Anything about, you want to talk about videos?
Like I said, short and sweet. You know, if you're going to text it, especially, you know, or personal videos, you know, happy birthday video, whatever, anything like that. Yeah. Entertaining videos, you know, to me, entertainment, you know, and if you can entertain while informing, that's probably the best. You know, our buddy Alex, he does a good job of those, and he's real good. Yeah. But yeah, it's something that's not too long and boring and has energy on it. You know, I mean, I like to be entertained.
For sure. So yeah, all of that's great. Dive into the videos. You get better at it. Supposedly people say that I'm really good on video. I just started doing this. I guess it's coming up on a year. And I feel like I'm getting better at it, right? So it's like, well, you just get better at it. You just like learn as you go. Pop buys and CMAs. I've never done pop buys, but I've heard they're the most impactful. But even JJ says like they're impactful because you're face to face and you give them a little something. Hey, just thinking about you. But it's hard to scale and be consistent with, you know, because now all of a sudden you have a bunch of clients all over the place and you're running around. It's like, man, that's tough to do. Yeah. CMAs, I do like to do this one. That's super valuable, right? I typically just email it to them, but sometimes maybe print it out and take it to them. Here you go. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not a fan of the pop buy for the same reason. I mean, I'm a fan of it, but hey, eventually you're going to outgrow it. If you're getting started, then do it.
Sure.
But I like reverse pop buy, where like when it's National Hamburger or French fry or ice cream or whatever day, you go somewhere and say like, hey, I'm here, or I'm going to be here tomorrow at this time. Swing by and your ice cream's on me. I love that. Yeah. You know, because some people might come, but they might not, but at least you invited them, you know. I really like that. Plus you get some ice cream.
I do like that one. I just checked out a new popsicle place, or new to me at least, in the Stone Oak area. I was getting a haircut the other day. Holy Pops. It's try it out. It's close to where you live. Have you been there?
No.
Holy Pops. Yeah, check it out. Your daughter will love it. So, anyways, I need to try the reverse pop buys. I've never done that. So, something to do. Text messages. I know you like this one. Of course, you're like, call them instead, which we'll get to in here in a second. But again, text messages is super powerful, super quick. Talk to us a little bit about your text message system with Hit 'em Up.
Yeah. So I send out 2 a week, right? Okay. And I don't know if you know this even, but I cut down from 320 to 158 or something like that.
The chosen ones.
Yeah. And I actually went through a business system to eliminate people. Well, like today, one of my good friends, Adam, he texted me a nice text, and I had taken him off because he wasn't in that business system. All right. And so I was like, oh, I feel bad. And then people started calling me Renee and a couple other people. I can't say their names, but they're like, hey, what happened to you? Are you okay? And I'm like, man, I eliminated some people that I shouldn't have. So that's why you say, like,
put them on there.
What's the point of eliminating people? You know, because one day, who knows? But I did that kind of intentionally, and it's kind of working back now to see like, okay, this is what I was providing you. Now you're not getting it, but I don't recommend that. Anyway, yeah, I use Hit 'em Up, and I was spending probably at least 2 hours on Monday and Friday doing it. And then now it's taken me 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to have technology to help you.
It is great for sure. And obviously you can group them by that and
one day you'll do it.
And you can personalize it one day. But obviously the direct individual, like I was telling you, you don't respond. I was like, I respond every time when you are directly messaging me, right? And I love the stuff that you send on Monday, Fridays, and I read it, I see it, and sometimes I don't respond, you know, but I think the direct text messages, the thinking about yous, the birthdays, those are the obvious ones. Random acts of kindness, common denominators. He's hilarious. He's a big into I'm totally drawing a blank on it. I'll get back to it. his memes. He does a whole bunch of memes, and he posts them, and I'm sure he shares that with them, and his buddies and all that stuff. But that's a common denominator for him and his people, right? So it's anything like that. All of a sudden I always get like text messages from my dad. And he's like, "Here's a golf thing, or here's a sports thing."
I was just going to say that. Yeah, so, I sent you one this morning.
Yeah. So simple text messages like that. When you come across something, it's like, who got to send this to? Oh, I can send it to this person, this person, this person. And it's just staying in flow, thinking about you type of thing.
Yeah.
Very impactful.
Did you see the one I sent you?
I didn't watch it. I saw.
So it's the one where Tiger makes contact with the putt. The ball's not even a quarter of the way there. He takes off his hat and shakes the guy's hand, and then it goes in. Crazy. And the tagline is "Supreme Confidence" or something like that.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Oh gosh.
So here's the next one. I know that you're very big into make the call, right? And he talks about 6 face-to-face or voice-to-voice. Obviously, face-to-face is
a week
more
or
impactful.
a day? Oh, a year.
A year.
For each people.
year.
Oh, I got you.
Right. So 6 face-to-face or voice-to-voice. Now you hear that and you go, oh my God, that's a lot, right? But it's not.
No.
It's like you start dividing that up. What is that? 1 every 2 months, right? Pretty much. So you have to see them or hear them, because obviously a text message is great. It's a good connection, but you don't know the tone. You don't know the mood, whatever it is. But if you hear their voice, you go, hey man, how's it going? Whatever it is. But again, birthdays, child's birthday, anniversaries, home anniversaries, events that are coming up in the community, or maybe you're hosting an event. So those are great ways to get face-to-face and continue to build that rapport and all that.
Yeah, because you should be, like if you have your top 25 or 50, you should be pretty close to those people, you know? And how much is too much? You just, not you, but, people in general, but you too, just think like, oh, it's too much. I'm too much. Yeah. Well, is it? Because like, how many times do we talk a week? Every day almost, or we didn't 2 days ago or yesterday.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. And it's not too much. Sometimes it's a couple of seconds. Sometimes it's a few minutes, but it's just not too much. I get it. Sometimes it could be too much, but we have a lot of commonalities. So of course we're talking about business or golf or, something, but you could get there with more people than you think.
Well, I read this morning in my reading. Krista Mayshore is this phenomenal agent up north. But I'm reading her book, and she talks about out of sight, out of mind. Right. So when we think we're contacting them too much, we're not, because they've probably forgotten about us, and then you need to stay in flow with them. Right. So we think it's too much, but it's not.
It's not.
And we just need to.
I always say, remember, I always do that. Like, if this is too much and this is just enough, where are most people? Most people are way down here.
Yeah.
Like too much would be, take me off your list, and this is top of mind. But most people are way, way down here. Just
yeah, for sure.
And be forgotten about.
I like this next one. Talks about 6 direct social media engagements, and this is kind of part of my business as well. Is that I'm on Facebook mostly because that's where my personal relationships are, right? And I follow different things and different people on Instagram. But direct messages, commenting on their post, but trying to create some kind of engagement with them, like, oh, that's awesome, where y'all at or whatever. But creating that engagement definitely separates you from just like love, care, just doing the emoji thing. It's like, put a comment in there. Obviously, the next level is personally text them like, hey, I love your post today. Well, I got that the other day. I posted my Monday motivation, right? And a friend of mine liked it and loved it, and was like, even commented on that. And then she texted me, and she was like, "That's an awesome Monday motivation." I was like, "No, that's really cool," And obviously she stood out because she took it to that next level, So that was pretty cool.
And you liked it. So other people like it when you do it back to them. That's the thing.
Yeah. So just do it, right?
Yeah.
Sending, using social media. And I know you're a little bit against this, but it's a combination of things. JJ talks a lot about like, go to their Facebook and just like scroll all the way down, right? And you can gather all kinds of information about Shane Tokheim. Well, probably not you because you're not on social media very much. But you could go back to my profile and go, here's his history of himself, because we pretty much always post our life, right? And it's like, oh, I know his wife's name. I know his daughter's name. I know his blah, blah, blah. I know his birthday is this. You know, so you can get that information just by spending a little bit of time on Facebook. Obviously, you go, well, why don't you just call them and talk to them and find out these things? But it's a combination of the two. And social media is definitely where you want.
I think that gives you a reason to call. If you see something, then you call and say like, oh, you went to Disneyland?
Exactly.
I'm going next week. What do I need to do? You know,
for sure.
Those are good conversations.
Absolutely. So, you know, all of that, I didn't add it up, but I mean, I guarantee you're probably at least at 44 or more. And the reason that you want to stay and flow with them is because you want to be top of mind, and you want to be one of the 7 is what he calls it. You know, when you think of like the big brands in America, right? You think Apple, right? How often is Apple staying in front of you by doing advertisement, by, hey, you bought a computer, now you're getting an email, like, you know, at least once a month, if not more. You buy Nikes, or you're even searching on Nike, boom, all of a sudden these ads are popping up, right? So they're staying in flow with you, and you're not going to forget them. Adidas, Amazon, Target. I just bought some shirts from Untuck It. I swear every day I'm like, ooh, I want to buy that one too.
Yeah.
You know, so I see these emails popping up. So making sure that we're at least 44 or maybe even more organically, right? Not forcefully. But when you're staying on flow like that, you're going to be top of mind and be the one that's being called when they need something.
Yeah, for sure.
So
going back to me and you, what, 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, we didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, you could develop that relationship with a lot of people that can't wait to hear. I mean, you know, I can wait to hear from you, but you know what I mean? I mean, it's not that hard. The next day after we had breakfast, I didn't call you 10 times, or, you know, it developed over time, and that's what you're doing. Just, you know, your in between the call is shorter and shorter and shorter now, and they're expecting it, and they're comfortable with it. And, you know, it's legitimately because you care. You might be asking about their family, you know, for their occupation, but it's because you really do care, you know? And so then hopefully they care back about you, and they're going to help you with your occupation.
Well, that book goes back to this, like, stay in flow with them, do these contacts. And this book talks about, she goes, I never ask for their business.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never like, look at me, hire me.
Yeah.
You know, you see all these people posting on social media for like, if you're thinking about buying or selling, give me a call. And it's like, no, provide value, provide help. Here's some information. I just posted today's Wednesday Wisdom on my social media, and it's all about possibly you getting rid of your PMI. All right. And it's like a lot of people have, like, I'm almost there. 1 year in, I'm almost at 20% LTV, right? So I can really close to dropping my PMI and saving $200 to $300.
Yeah.
How many people would love to save $200 to $300?
Everybody.
Right. So I'm providing that information, you know, and boom, all of a sudden I'm that person of value. Right. And so hopefully, you know, that creates a stern interest.
You need to do that. You need to send it out to everybody.
Yeah. It'd be good. So here's the thing that I want to kind of wrap up with is 6% of your database is going to make a move in the next year. Yeah. Which is pretty wild. All right. And we have this little 6% factor, and I'm going to break this down a little bit. Let's just say you wanted to make $200,000 as a real estate agent. All right. And we're going to do a little bit of math. And I did it here, but 200,000 divided by 3% is $6.7 million in sales volume. All right. Let's just say that your average sales price is $325,000. All right. Which is about the average sales price of San Antonio right now. Your average commission, if you're at 3%, is $9,750 at that point, which means you would need to sell 21 houses, 21 transactions at that price point to earn about $200,000. You start figuring out, you take that number of transactions divided by 6%, and you get 350 people. All right. And then, of course, he says to multiply it by 2. That gets you, hey, you need 700 people in your database. I don't know if that number is exactly right. I know Ninja Selling talks about for every person in your database that you actively are in flow with and or have a relationship with, you could expect about $1,000 of income per person, right? So based off of that logic, if I want to make 200,000, I need at least 200 people in my database that I'm in flow with. Obviously, if you want more income, then you need to go meet more people, right? And continue to build those relationships and add more people to that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you had 200 people that you're in flow with and you're 100% sure they're all going to refer you or use you, the people that refer you are now part of that. So it's going to organically grow whether you want it to or not.
Correct.
So you don't even have to go out and meet people once you're at that point because you're going to get so many referrals. So, if 12 of them, 6% move, now next year you're at 212. And the next year you're at 230. And the next year, so you're going to organically grow, but you just got to get in flow with those people. 80% of the transactions you have are going to come from someone that is in your phone or from somebody that they know. Yeah. And so that's good statistics to know. You got to get in flow with as many people as you can.
Absolutely. I love that. And I mean, it definitely makes me think of a couple past clients that recently closed. That was a referral from that person. And now they're in my database. That's right. And we're in flow and we're on social media and now that's growing. Right. And even that person was like, hey, my friend's thinking about buying a house in the next 6 months. Great. So now we're going to add that person to the database and help them and, provide value. So that's really cool. And again, going back to wrapping this whole thing up, according to Shane Tokheim, 95% of you don't have a database that you could print out, right? And you're probably pretty darn close. I could probably print one out, but it's definitely not complete. It's definitely not full and where I want it to be. So that's something that I'm continuing to work on. Start there. Then once you have that information, now stay in flow with them. All right. And then boom.
Yep.
We're going
to be starting up our groups the couple of weeks after school starts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start doing one-on-one coaching again.
Uh-oh. You heard it first.
I know.
You're going to get bombarded by emails. And
I hope. I mean, I'm going to cap it probably 10 people. But yeah.
One-on-one coaching with Shane Tokheim.
Yeah.
All right. If you're interested, hit him up. We'll leave his phone number and the whatever the show notes. All right. Well, cool, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Right on. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, share with a friend, a realtor friend of yours, new in the business, old in the business, could use this information. Share it with them. That'd be awesome. Leave us a review. Give us a rating. That really helps grow the show as well. And you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We thank you for joining us today. Now let's get out there and go produce.